I graduated at IPFW for a finance degree. Which
Nice.
is totally opposite of what I do right now. Investing since I was 12, actually.
Really?
Hey, this is going to probably be your biggest video. And I'm like, yeah, in my head, I said bullshit. LA, Columbus, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Indy, Atlanta, Philly.
All right, guys, I am AOA, and this is AOA The Shed. Today we got Sight Beyond Sound. Take us back, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me here.
Yes. So where were you from? Take us back early on, childhood, both parents. Give us all of that.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm Indiana native, and I was born in Newcastle, Indiana. Both my parents are actually from Pakistan, so they moved over here. They went to Indianapolis first, and then they ventured out to Newcastle, and then from Newcastle we went to Fort Wayne. Half of my life, I shouldn't say half, probably like 13 years in Newcastle, and then over here I've been in Fort Wayne ever since. And I'm 37 right now. Yeah. So I went to Homestead High School, and then I graduated at IPFW for a finance degree. Which is totally opposite of what I do right now.
That's crazy. So it sounds like you had a pretty good childhood, both parents and everything.
Yeah. I have two sisters. The youngest of three. My oldest sister lives in Atlanta, and my younger sister lives in Philadelphia. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Do your parents speak another language?
They do. Yeah.
Are you bilingual?
Bilingual-ish. So what I mean by that is they can speak to me in, we speak Urdu/Hindi. So Hindi and Urdu are very, very same. Just a couple words different. So Hindi is like native in India. Urdu is utilized in Pakistan. But really, it's the same words. Okay. They speak it fluently. They also speak English fluently. But they also commingle, English with Urdu. So that's where I kind of understood what they were saying, but I could never speak it. I could speak broken, but I hate saying it because I have a really American accent. Okay. So,
is there a strong population in Indiana with people you can relate to or speak to in that language?
No, not in Newcastle. Okay. We were literally the one of two families. in the whole town. It was like 20,000 people. Oh, okay. Yeah. So then when we moved over here, it seemed bigger. There was maybe like 200, 300 families that we got really close to. Where we follow Islam, so we went to the mosque and we met a lot of families throughout that way. So.
Nice. Describe Newcastle. So it's a small town. I've been there only for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Yeah. Tell me a little, what's to do in Newcastle?
Nothing. I mean, I love it. I love it just because like that's where I grown. My childhood memories, in the house that I did. But really, it's just all known for Steve Alfred. Steve Alfred is there's like a museum there. There's a hotel over there. But I mean, we literally have like one Walmart, and you could just pass through it real fast. Like 3 or 4 stoplights. But it was everybody knew everybody, and I think a lot of people that lived in small towns or small cities can kind of relate to that. It's like, hey, we all watched each other's backs. We had our doors open all the time. Like there was nothing, that happened. So it was kind of nice. And then we eventually moved up to Fort Wayne. So even though people are like, oh my God, Fort Wayne's so small, to us is huge.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're like, we went from 20,000 to 300,000, and we're like, shoot, this is a whole different beast, so yeah.
Now that you're older, does Fort Wayne seem small? Because you've traveled a lot. We're going to get into that for everything you've done, but does it seem small now?
I would say it's average. However, I think it's on the up and up. I always tell this to people, like 4 or 5 years ago, if you say like, hey, would you move? I would say yes in a heartbeat. I was like, oh man, nothing really changed for 10, 15 years past that. And then in the last 5 years, it's been crazy. The downtown's been really up and up. I think just so many companies has come in, Amazon and all that. So
making great job opportunities for those that don't have skills necessarily.
Exactly. And so I think we're becoming a medium to large city.
Yep.
And I think that's what's great. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get more in the full way now. You said you moved up for in high school. You went to finance, and so can you tell us what was going on that made you choose finance?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually started in pre-med.
Nice.
I was money hungry. I think a lot of us are, but I also wanted to help people, and I had like a rare blood disease that's called hemophilia, and that's what the area that I wanted to concentrate. So hemophilia is basically just a bleeding disorder where you lack a clotting factor, or it's just it's really hard to clot for us.
Okay.
So.
So a cut could bleed on for...
It could, yeah. Or it's just very, very slow to heal up.
So is that something that you always, let's say you have in mind, you have to immediately wrap it up?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Absolutely. Like I even have like big from volleyball, but they take a while to heal up. But that was I wanted to kind of focus on that. I wanted to help individuals and go into the hematology area. So I started pursuing pre-med, but it just wasn't for me. One day I went to meet my dad's financial advisor, and it just kind of sparked from there. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of cool. I've been investing since I was 12, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So I started doing the stock market super early. And I was like, okay, maybe I should try this out. So I interned at Edward Jones while going to school, and then I switched my major at the same time. I'm like, you know what? Let me go through this finance route. So I worked at Edward Jones. I worked at Three Rivers, and at the same time. So it was crazy. I would work 12 hours a day, and then go to school, and then go party and shit, But I just absolutely love the finance part of it, and then eventually I went to Lincoln Financial, which just got bought off just recently. But that's where I'm at right now.
So you said you gotta back it up. Hold on, I didn't know you were investing at 12. Can you explain what led you to that? Was it your parents' influence? Can you give us all of that for us?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I started, actually, it was like a school project. They kind of give you $100,000 of fake money and say, hey, you want to invest this? And I was like, oh my God, this is fun. I was like, this is just interesting. One of my best friends did the same thing. So we got on a site. I don't know if it's still up, but it's called sharebuilder.com. And it was just something that you just signed up for. They give you $100,000 of fake money, kind of like Monopoly money, and you just buy it into the market. And it actually followed what the market did. If Apple went up, Microsoft went up, you got to see how much money you made. So I got really addicted to that. And then from there, they had a little advertisement. And it said you could open up your own account, and it was called an UGMA account. So for people that don't know what that is, it's for children underage, where you have a parent custodian that owns it, but it's actually the owner of the child.
Oh, okay.
So I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, do you want to sign up? Can you sign this off? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so he actually helped me. He would give us our allowance, and then he gave me hey, this is to start off your investment. And so I was like, okay, cool. So he deposited directly into my account, started investing, bought my first 4 stocks. I still remember it to today. It was American Express, it was GE, Walmart, and one more thing. I forget what it was. But then from there, it kind of just blew up. Till this day, I'm addicted to it. Every day I'm trading something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So were you happy when you took the finance route? I know initially you were. Now because I want to know what led to the switch and everything. So were you actually have the entire process through, or was there a change or anything for you?
No. After I switched from the pediatrics, that's what I wanted to go for, went to finance, I just went with it. I changed all my classes at IPFW, your alternatives and all that. I went into arbitrages. So arbitrages are ways to kind of safeguard your investments. So we learned how to look at other currencies and trade in other currencies to offset, if the U.S. dollar goes down versus the euro versus the yen, and then how can you make a perfect arbitrage where everybody wins? So
sounds like a lot of work.
It is. Yeah, that was one of my toughest classes that I've ever taken. So
how tough was to get to have a degree in finance? How many hours were you putting in studying? How much free time did you actually have?
Good question. I didn't really spend that much time. I'm not trying to brag in any other way, but I kind of like my free time, so I didn't really study as much as I should have. But it was tough. I think it came a little bit natural to me, like math and numbers. That's my go-to thing. Like I learned percentages when I was young. Like you could give me different fractions, and now I memorized a lot of them. Actually from NBA games. Okay. It was really weird. But so just learning all about the finance, like the details of them, the techniques, the formalities, that was kind of tough. Like one of my classes, we had 2 questions for our final, and that was our only grading scale. No homework, no other things. It's like if you miss one, you got 50%.
Damn.
So it was tough. It was definitely tough. So I think right before I started graduated, that's when I started to really meet up with people and start researching. But I think I matured a lot later down the road. So if I were to redo it again, I think I would have took it just a little bit more serious. But it was a tough route, but I kind of made it through.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. When did SBS come about?
Yeah. So Sight Beyond Sound, or SBS, started around eight years ago. Kind of the background story to it, and we can get into that, was I was an artist beforehand, and I met someone randomly through a party, and I saw that he did videos. So, like, personally, I just wanted to make a music video to some of my songs. And then we started talking. We had like a vibe going on. I was like, okay, I'm all about that. And then he showed me some of his videos, his green screen, how he did that, and it was awesome. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, would you like to kind of work together? So I was like, I'll work on the audio part, and you would work on the video part. So that's where we got the name Sight Beyond Sound. He had the sight, and I had the sound, and that's why we're like, hey, we're not limited. We're going to go beyond that, and that's where we kind of made that name, Sight Beyond Sound. So we got together. I learned the camera, and then fast forward to today. Now I'm the sole member right now. He had a jump ship for really good reasons. He got married, he had kids, and at that time he lost one of his closest members, his grandma that was very close to. So he respectively came up to me. He's like, hey, I can't dedicate the time anymore. Do you mind if I just give you all the rights, like 100%? And he's like, I could help out later on. He's like, I'm just not in the headspace for that. I'm like, sure. I was like, it's always open door. So that's where Sight Beyond Sound came from, man.
Yeah. Any update on the artist career?
Artist career actually has gone down. I started doing beats with Fruity Loops years ago when Napster was kind of the thing. And I was just messing with the beats. I'm like, oh my God, that was awesome. It's terrible. I heard it just the other day. I'm like, what was I doing? But then that went from Fruity Loops to Reason. If you ever worked with Reason, and then from Reason I went to Pro Tools. So I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But I made my first album. I've actually rapped on a song. I wrote. I helped produce like my friend's stuff, and I knew after I rapped, I was like, I'm never doing that again. The electronic music, I think I would do that if I ever do it again. It's just now I just got to balance my time, and honestly, what really vibed with people was my camera work with video, with photos. Audio wise, I didn't think there was a really EDM market over here, or I just didn't make good enough music for people to enjoy it, and that's okay because I enjoyed it, that's all that matters, right? So I mean, I wasn't upset about it at all, but then I just kind of shifted gears. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just work on what I can tell a story about, and so that's where I got into camera work. Yeah.
What is your day-to-day like during the week?
So I work full time. So the new company that I have, I won't say it just because I know that there's a lot of legalities going on right now. But I have a full-time career. I'm in finance as well, helping financial planners create solutions for their clients, specifically in asset managed accounts. Probably going over everybody's head, but that's okay. I'll just stop it there. So that's 8 to 5. And then after that, after hours, it's either one or two things. One, I'm either playing volleyball or doing something active, or I'm actually doing some of my business. So I would go from my job to my other part and start editing, filming, taking photos, doing whatever I need to do. In my careers, Monday through Friday, and then my weekends are free and clear to whatever I need to do, appointments or just free time.
Yeah. So you do weddings, you do anything that you can with the camera. Can you tell me what is your most memorable experience with the camera, and maybe your most favorite? Give us different stories.
Cool. I got two of them. So one of them was just recently. It's called the One Iota. Shout out to Sumo.
Oh, yep. I grabbed him. I dropped that one a month ago.
Perfect. Yeah. Shout out to Sumo again. We got connected, and he had an idea for a video, and after we connected, we actually did an interview, so I could send that to you if you ever wanted to see it, because we really broke it down, the whole production part. But that really turned out really good. He first started like, hey, this is going to probably be your biggest video. And I'm like, yeah, in my head, I said, bullshit. I was like, everybody says that. And I'm like, you know what, let me see what it is. But it challenged me, and I liked that, because it was more of not just a music video where you just go to a building or you just go to a room or an Airbnb and just film it. It was story driven, so you had to really dive into the story. Does it make sense? Creating the scenes, creating the locations, the mood, and they had a lot more dialogue than the actual video. Video itself was 2.5 minutes for music wise, but the whole thing was 6 minutes. So how do you make that make sense?
Yeah, make it entertaining for
exactly
no audio.
Yeah, well, there was audio, but how do you make that in a short film and get to the point really fast without, that was really bland.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one was probably my most recent. Everything went amazing on there, like the quality of it. I was super happy with how everything went. So
you did the editing on one where it was a shot from up top, and oh, bro, that looks badass. With the car driving off, bro, that was badass. I'm gonna have to put that in.
Yeah, my buddy Usman, he's part of like the Sight Beyond Sound team, and he's the one that was on the drone. I basically just kind of directed it at that point. I'm like, hey, this is the idea that I'm having. And he flew it perfectly. I was just watching him fly it. I'm like, that's gonna be badass. So I absolutely loved it. We could watch it. I could watch that all day, even though I watched it maybe 2,000 times. The other memorable video that I had was with a certain energy, or if you guys know Shane. And so me and him, we got together maybe 3 years ago, I believe, and there was a post online. We got connected. He was signed to a label, and we're like, hey, you know what, let's meet up, see what kind of video content we can create, and go from there. So we met up. We had our first music video, which was good. Trust me, it was good, but I was also a rookie at that time, so I saw so many mistakes on my end. So instead of like, oh my God, we tore up the relationship, he didn't think it was bad at all. Like we did the best that we could, but we knew that there was a lot of improvement. So the next video that we did, it was called Fake Love, and I loved the beat to it. We got together and we really thought this one out. We went to LA, we went to Detroit, and I think those are the 2 locations for that one. The other video we did in Indy and Cleveland. So we got to like travel all over the place. So our trip to LA was phenomenal. Like we got to meet like one of his buddies who was part of the Dodgers, like and like they did a jersey swap. I'm like, this is so cool. Like I'm forgetting his name, but they did jersey swap. I did photos with him. I got one of my one of the girls that I knew, like that did dancing, like she got into the song as well, and like she had just a mini choreograph. It wasn't too much, but we had like the lights in the back, and we rented out different studios. We had the studios with the lights that had like different colors coming, and that was so sick. And then Detroit, we had the Infinity White. So the Infinity White is basically, it just looks like everything is just a white background, and it looks like it just goes on forever. So what we did was we did a 1-take shot over there, and we put it together as a video, and it turned out phenomenal. So
that's what's up, man. Where all has the camera taken you?
So I think with Shane was probably the most. Like I've been out to LA, Columbus, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Indy, Atlanta, Philly, and I think that's it for now. So
that's still some good traveling. Camera, man.
I was pretty happy with it, for how long I've only been in it, and I've been only advertising it locally right now. So, but that's going to change here soon.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What is the long-term plans? Do you plan on retiring into the camera? Is that your long-term goal? What can you explain what yours is?
That's a great question, man. And that's something that I'm trying to build up, without giving out too much information. But my dream when we started Sight Beyond Sound, and still to this day, was to create a minimum of 3 different studios where it's all content creation. Whether you're going for audio, whether you're going for video or photo or creating a commercial or a venue or anything, we can do it all in one house. And that's what I wanted to do. And that really goes with the name of Sight Beyond Sound, because we wanted to go beyond what your traditional thing is. I mean, you can see studios all over the place, but you don't really have the combination. Like over here, this is fantastic. You kind of got that area, but I think if I were to make this as an example, there isn't a spot where I could take photos of larger quantities, or what happened if I had a corporate event that I could rent out the whole space. I want that expandability. So my idea isn't just to do the camera work, because I think a lot of people will, once you mature into whatever you do, especially in the camera work, you begin to kind of get promoted within your own company. Even though you started it. You started as a cameraman, as an editor and all that, but you're going to finally realize that you can't do that all the time. So I'm slowly becoming more of a director and in getting everybody together and saying, hey, do this, and then eventually, I'll have multiple teams. That's what I really want to have.
Is the money worth it so far? And you've done it for 5 years so far. You say
Yeah, it's about. I have to double check my numbers, but I think it was like 7 to 8 years.
Okay, 7 to 8.
Yep. Honestly, I'll be truthful. I don't think I started making money until 3 years ago. All the other